you doing this interview with me. My name is Toussaint, and this is the former Citizens of Reality. This is Mr. Glenn, if you would tell people your name.
Glenn Glendale Tyus. I'm sure I've got references all over the place, but I'm a country boy, but it boils down to.
But you were playing the bass, and that caught my attention. And then when I heard you sing, I was like, wow, this man is talented. I know you don't think so because you're a real humble spirit, but if you will, tell me about how you started playing the bass.
Well, it started years ago. I was in college, and I was taking piano lessons, 19 years old. And I had scrapped around, worked during after school and on summers, and made some saving money, and I bought my own piano. And I was taking lessons at school. I was living at home, so I was taking lessons. I tried to practice, and nobody wanted to hear me practice at home, so they kept running me off of it, and I finally gave up on that. But there was something about music that kept holding my attention. But I would buy instruments. I bought about 5 keyboards down through the years. I could maybe do this, but I never would. And I finally said to myself, I'm going to buy one more instrument. So I'm not going to learn to play this thing. I'm going to quit. Well, my youngest brother, he plays the bass too. He's been playing probably about 35, 40 years. He's bad. He is bad. And I decided when I want to try that. When I started taking lessons. And I took my first lesson at 49 years old. And started kind of stumbling around. And the guy that was my teacher, he played about 8 different things. And I think he's dead now. But that was where I kind of got my start. And the love of music was instilled in me as a child because I've sang ever since I can remember. I mean, it's my earliest memory of singing. I can remember laying up in my dad's lap, pulling on his chin whisker, trying to bass like him. He was a phenomenal bass singer. A little man, he was less than 100, about 140, 150 pounds. Wow! But that was his pride and joy when he could do his bass singing, and he did a lot of high tenor. And my mother, she was kind of the music stickler. She was into it. I mean, she at one point we had a family group, and it was 10 of us, 11 of us in the family group at one time. Everybody had a slot, and her ear was so good that if somebody was out of their slot, she'd just look around. Somebody knew they had messed up. We found out about it when we got back home. But that type of training. She was so good. I don't know if she knew how good she was. I mean, some of the, I would say, an undiscovered phenomenon because she could do baritone and she could go way up in the rafters. I mean, wow. She was good enough that I think she could have broken glass if she had just chosen to do it. So they were my inspiration. I'm not as bad as I used to be, but I'm really shy. I was real shy then, but I just knew that this was a way to do. And so she was going to make us do it, whether we got to whoop it in the process. So this saved me from getting whooped, and I'd go ahead and do it. And she was teaching us along the way then. And my thing is that I think back on those years that kept me focused on something that I didn't realize I was focused on. Didn't realize that it was rooted in me so deep. I had even got to the point to where I was growing. I want to live it on my own. I want to get out of church. I'm going to go do what I want to do. I want to spread my wings, spread my oats, do all of the above. And I did. And they came to the house one day, and just so happened it was Saturday or Friday evening. And on Saturday, we talked. I stood out in the yard and talked to them for a while. Little did I know I was being set up. She asked me, she said, "Why don't you come and go to church with us tomorrow?" Okay, fine. I wouldn't do anything. Didn't have anything planned. And I said, "Well, what time do you want to come up here?" Well, my dad chimed in. Then he said, "We'll be down here to get you." Didn't think anything about it. I had a good time in church. And I didn't have to do anything good other than just being in the environment again because raised in it was a part of it. And left there, and my dad was a quartet singer too, so I guess I'm some sort of a second generation, I guess you could say. And I used to, matter of fact, I used to go to their rehearsals. I used to go with them, tag along, get to listen to them. One of our cousins, he played lead guitar, and they call themselves the Uncle Five, and they're pretty good, I thought. And matter of fact, he was a pastor of church not far from here. So I was exposed to it in a lot of different ways. And when I came back to where I was, I came to church with them. I went to church with them, and I said, I'll go back next Sunday. Well, I came out here, and the choir was singing, and it was just so overpowering. I mean, I got to crying, and I couldn't figure out why. And I kept crying, and I couldn't stop, and I was like, something's wrong with me, something is wrong with me. And, you know, I cry a lot when I sing, too, because of that training that's deep inside of me. You know, it just does something to me, because that's my inspiration. Even when things are going wrong, I can manage to get a song. Everything's all right, because God's working on me through the music. I stumble around on the guitar. You know, people are kind to me. I know I'm not as good as a lot of these guys around. I don't try to compare myself with them, other than knowing that they're that much better than I am. They inspire me because, I mean, most of them started at a younger age. I didn't get the opportunity, but God allowed me the opportunity to do what little I can do. And I'm thankful that He has allowed me to do that, because it fills another void. It gives me something to do that is not worldly. I mean, keeps me from a bunch of the nonsense that the world will drop in your lap, and it'll drop a bunch of it in there. Life will hit you with a lot of sucker punches. And if you don't have something solid to hold on to, then you'll be sucked into that nonsense that the world's going to give us. And believe me, sometimes I still get sidetracked. I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be. I don't claim to be above and beyond, but I know that God has been good to me. I know where He's brought me from. I know what He's brought me through. And I know what He has done all of this time. I'm just thankful that He's done to the degree that He has, because I know what I could have been if He'd allowed it to happen. I mean, I should have been dead 4 or 5 times over, but He saw fit to shield me and keep me from that. I don't know what purpose He has for me. I don't know what He's going to do in my life, but I know He's got me here for something. So I'm trying to be open for whatever He has for me.
All right. Now, I've heard you play, and I think you're good. Me personally, I think you're good with how you play. And I know you have a voice, and when I first heard your voice, I was really shocked that you weren't out there putting out a blues record or something. So what kept you grounded in the church as opposed to singing for the world?
Oddly enough, I had the opportunity to be a blues singer. I used to be a bodyguard for a guy named I know you've heard of him, Johnny Taylor. I used to be a bodyguard for for about 8 years, and he tried to get me to get on some of his albums with him. And my thing was, I didn't mess him up, because he was phenomenal. He could go. And I was just in awe of him because of his abilities. And he actually used to sing with my Clouds of Joy. And he got away from them and went to the blues, or R&B, he said. It was interesting, but it really wasn't something that was a magnet to me. Gospel is where my heart was, and probably always will be. I mean, I still will listen to some of it, but when I need a lift, I go back to the old standby. Gospel music is where I was raised, and it's probably where I'm going to be. I enjoy other sections, other types of music, other styles, different artists. I'm not locked into gospel totally there. I mean, I listen to a lot of different vocalists. I'm admirable of their abilities, and they're God-given, whether they'll realize it or admit it or not. But it's still their choice, and God gave us free will. They chose their path. I like mine because of the things that he has brought me through. Uh, just a short story. A friend of mine was dating a woman that he was in love with. She lived about 3 miles from him. He decided she joined the Navy. He was going to go down and visit her, and we were drinking and doing drugs and all this stuff. And he was going to go by himself, and I was considering that he needs some company. I want to go with him. I was trying to be that good a friend. We got about 45 miles east of Little Rock and got run over by a semi going the same direction.
Wow.
And ran completely over. I came to for just a little bit, and the car was in a tailspin. Though I hit my head on the dash, it knocked me out. And when I came back to, the steam was boiling up out of the car, and it was sounding like a tractor. It broke the manifold in the car, exhaust, and it was through the headlights and the steam coming out of the car. First thing that crossed my mind, I died and went to hell. So, finally we get out of the car, and there was some trucks pulled over, and it had to be the grace of God. It was the grace of God. No, it had to be too. It was the grace of God. We got out of the car. This car was in such bad shape. Two semis stopped, and where all these people came from, I don't know. But there was enough people there, me, him, and all these other total strangers. We literally picked the car up and carried it out of the freeway. It's a 74 Camaro.
Okay.
And we picked it up, carried it out of the freeway. And from the time I walked around the passenger side back to the driver's side, they were pulling off. Two semis. They were leaving, calling. Let's pull up and up. Well, the guy was with, he flagged the car that was coming through, and he stopped. But he saw what was going on. I don't know what had happened. He called the cops. The local cops came out. They put us in the car. Us all under the influence and everything. Took us to the police station. And he tried to figure out who was. If you remember any of the license plate number, anything, the description of the truck. But we didn't get it. We were shocked. They fed us coffee all night long. Loaded us up the next morning. Took us to the bus station. Made sure we had enough money to get back home. And waved bye to us. And just the grace of God. So those things like that have kept me focused on the world. Yeah, the world is going to give you a lot of stuff, but God is going to give them. Just God is going to give us what we need, what we have to need. Those are the things we desire. And He's given me the opportunity to spread His word, or to try to help with His message, or things that He wants people to understand. Through, if they get something from my singing, praise be to God for that. Because that's our mission. That's what I try to focus on. I try to do something that is going to help somebody along the way. Too easy to be discouraging, or to talk down to somebody, or to I'm better than you on this and that. That is not what I'm all about. If anything, I'm supposed to try to help somebody when they need help them, even if I think there is a need. And God shows us that, because sometimes in the process of having an opportunity to sing for His glory, people will come to me and that song is what I need. Well, I don't know that, but the Holy Spirit guided that song to, or gave that song to me, and it ministered to them. Matter of fact, I've had that happen a lot, because people are just, the Bible says from the heart reaches the heart. And I find I connect with a lot of people through gospel music. You can connect with people in the secular world. You can connect with them on a different level. Now, you can find favor with them. You can find admirability out of them. You can find all of them, a lot of different things. But when you reach into somebody and giving them a little bit more hope, that is our job.
That's enough for people to think about, and hopefully people will go out and think about, and think about what they say and what they do and what sounds they make and how that influences other people. I like it. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate you doing this interview with me.
It's been fun.